Okay, pay attention, Rene. Yesterday I explained, Eduardo, hey, I'm over here, boy. Thank you. I don't want you to get another 6 in my exam, okay? So you better pay attention. Or maybe a 5. Okay? Because I like kind of helped you a little bit so you could get a 6. Okay. Yesterday I explained the second conditional. The second conditional is a hypothesis in the present about a real situation that we want to be different. Today, I'm going to explain the third conditional. The third conditional is also called past unreal. It's similar to the second conditional, only that the condition takes place in the past. It's something that we cannot change anymore. So, the third conditional, it's also called Jimena past unreal. And we use it for hypotheses in the past, things that we cannot change. Example, we have a real situation that I'm going to invent, and I'm going to say, for example, Pedro didn't marry Elizabeth. Hey, you're there, I'm speaking. Pedro didn't marry Elizabeth. That's a real situation. Pedro didn't marry Elizabeth, but Pedro loved Elizabeth a lot. And because he didn't marry her, then he was miserable. He was miserable. So because he didn't marry Elizabeth, now in the past he was miserable. So I'm going to make a hypothesis about the past. The things have been different. So I would say, I write horribly. If Pedro what? Had married. So when I make the third conditional, when I use the third conditional, I use if and then I use past perfect. So the translation would be si Pedro se hubiera casado, which means that he didn't. If Pedro had married Elizabeth, comma, and now I have 3 options also. This is that he was sad. I say he wouldn't have. This is permanent. Would have. You cannot say would only. He wouldn't have. He couldn't have, or he might not have been miserable. Oh, I don't know how to write miserable. Okay, so translation. Si Pedro se hubiera casado con Elizabeth, él no habría estado tan triste. Miserable is very sad. No habría estado tan triste. So, this is the real situation that has to take place in the past, not in the day in the past, and was in the past. And then I made the past unreal with had and any verb in past participle, had been, had gone, had studied, etc. So the structure is if, then the part that has if has to have past perfect, and then the other part you can have would have, could have, or might have, either affirmative or negative, and then the verb conjugated in past participle. All right? So that's how we form the past perfect, which is good for making hypotheses in the past. All right? Another real situation. Well, real like in parentheses. Like let's say Patricia is not here, right? Patricia failed because she didn't study. Patricia, this is horrible. Patricia failed because she didn't study. That's the real situation. Emily, what would be the third conditional for this? If Patricia had had studied, yes. If Patricia had studied, comma, there's a comma when you begin with it. She, yes, she wouldn't fail. You need have obligatorily because the action happened in past. She wouldn't have failed. Yes? Okay. Si Patricia hubiera estudiado, no habría reprobado. All right? So that's the third conditional. Okay? That's the third conditional. That's how it works. If, then past perfect, affirmative or negative, then would have, could have, or might have, that you can use any of those. Obviously, they translate a different idea. The translation of would have is habría, and could have and might have podría haber. All right, that's what it translates. All right. Well, you may copy that, please. You may copy that. Eduardo, here. Now, the structure, like I told you yesterday with the second conditional. In the first part, you can have one person, and in the second part, you can have another person. In the first part, you can have it affirmative, in the second part, negative, or vice versa, as long as your sentence is logical, okay? What happens if I invert the sentence? The only thing that happens is that the comma disappears. For example, I say, if Danny had eaten, remember that when we begin with if or whatever is if, whatever is going to be past perfect. If Danny had eaten, si Danny hubiera comido, she would have, she could have, or she might have felt good. What's the real situation? That Danny didn't eat and she felt bad, right, Danny? Okay. Si Danny hubiera comido, ella se habría sentido, Eduardo, ella se habría sentido bien. Se habría sentido bien or podría haberse sentido bien. This should translate the same thing. Now, what happens if I invert the sentence? The only thing that is going to happen is that this comma is going to disappear. So I would say, Danny would have or could have or might have felt. Remember that after have, the verb has to be conjugated in past participle, okay? Danny would have felt good. And here, this comma disappears when it's in the second part. If she had eaten. So the part with if is the part that has past perfect. The part that doesn't have if is the part that is going to have, would have, could have, and might have, and the verb in past participle. Okay, that's the third conditional. Is past or real or a hypothesis in the past. Translation: Danny se habría sentido bien si hubiera comido. Means that Danny didn't eat, so that's why she felt bad. She fainted, and the Red Cross had to come to pick her up and take her to a hospital, and then she had to pay a lot of money because hospitals are really expensive now, right, Danny? Okay, now you may copy that, and you have 1 minute to copy, not like 1 hour.
Yes.
Yes.
You are expert.
And what? So, Manuel, this is transformation. Transformation to the third conditional. I'm going to write my name. I'm going to write a sentence in past, which is supposed to be the real sentence. And you have to transform that sentence. You have to transform that sentence into something that is unreal, the opposite. Okay, so copy the sentences, please. Eduardo, copy the sentences because I'm gonna check your job. Eduardo didn't pay attention. Period. He got a low grade. That's the real situation. Now you have to transform it into a real situation. I'm going to put them together because I don't have too much space, but you can write number one and skip a line or 2 lines, okay? Okay, I'm going to put them together. Rene, which is a boy because it's only one E, right? It's not this Rene, it's another Rene. It's my uncle, maybe. Rene what? Word excessively. Rene worked excessively. It's not a woman, it's a man. It's capital. He fainted. Fainted is se desmayó. Okay, he fainted. Right? And number 3. Let's say Carlos. Carlos abused Elena, period. He went to jail. Yes. Okay, no, those 3 sentences, and now make them real sentences, please. Make them real sentences. Jimena, number 1. Eduardo didn't pay attention, he got a low grade. If Eduardo had paid like this, pay is spelled this way. Not like this, it's not a regular verb. Okay? If you wrote it like this, pay it, it's not correct. If Eduardo had paid attention, yeah, attention. We say he, you can have 2 options. He wouldn't have gotten a low grade. Can you see it? He wouldn't have gotten a low grade. Like this. Can you see it? He wouldn't have gotten a low grade, or he would have gotten a better grade. Okay, so in the case of having adjectives, you can change the adjective and it can remain being affirmative or negative. So here I have 2 options. He wouldn't have gotten a low grade, or he would have gotten a better grade. All right? Yes? So that's in the case of the first one. Now let's do, okay, yes. The second one, Rene worked excessively. He fainted. Yes. If Rene, yes, if Rene, that's correct. If Rene hadn't, horrible, hadn't worked in past participle, right? Because it's hadn't worked excessively, comma, he wouldn't fainted. Okay, good. So, si René no hubiera trabajado excesivamente, él no se habría desmayado, right? And number 3. Yes, Eduardo. If Carlos hadn't abused with ed at the end, hadn't abused Elena. Okay, just let me make the corrections with the camera. Elena, okay, yes. He wouldn't have gone to jail. That's correct. So after wouldn't have, you use past participle. So that would be like this. He wouldn't have gone to jail. Si Carlos no hubiera abusado de Elena, no habría ido a la cárcel. All right? So that's the third condition. Okay? Questions? No? Okay. Well, you may copy that in case you don't have it. Oh. ¿Qué dice George? Something that is related to the third conditional is the expression should have. So we can use this expression should have plus past participle instead of the third conditional. Instead. What's the meaning of should have? Debería haber or debió haber. It can be affirmative or negative. So you can say should have, or you can also say shouldn't have. And after have is all the time going to be past participle. You use should have plus past participle to criticize or to express regret. Well, you know that what criticize is, which is criticar something, and regret is to express lamento. It's the same thing, but it depends. For example, if one girl is running there and then she falls down, I can do both, criticize or regret. If she is somebody I care about, I would express regret. But if she's somebody I like don't care about, I would criticize. Example, I'm going to write a real situation and I'm going to express regret or criticism with this one. I'm going to say Lucy failed miserably. Lucy failed miserably. That's the real situation. And then we should have, I can express criticism or regret that has the same structure. And I say about her, and I say about her. She should have studied harder. She should have studied harder. Ella debió haber estudiado más duro. I'm expressing criticism, but if she's my daughter, this can also may sound like regret. Debió haber estudiado más mi hija. So I'm lamenting it. Yes? I'm like regretting something, or can be negative. She shouldn't have played video games so much. Ella no debió haber jugado videojuegos tanto videojuegos. All right. So we should have I express regret. Now you may copy that, please. Oh, you may copy that. Oh, Eduardo, I'm going to say something like in the red, and you will have to express regret or criticism, which should have or shouldn't have. Okay? Say, Manuel is cold because he didn't bring a sweater.
Manuel
Should have.
where?
Okay, the past participle of wear is worn. So should have worn a coat. Okay, Manuel should have worn a coat. Debió haber usado un abrigo. Okay, good. Emily, I am hungry because I didn't eat.
Are you sure?
No. Just regret or criticism. It's the same. It's the same.
He should.
I. You should have eaten. You should have eaten. That's all. You should have eaten. Yes, debiste haber comido. Okay? It's the same. Criticism and regret, it's the same. It depends on how you say it. For example, there's this girl, Emily, runs there. I appreciate Emily. She falls down. Oh no, she shouldn't have run. I am expressing regret. The intonation changes because if I don't appreciate Emily, she shouldn't have run that fast. I'm criticizing her. It's the same sentence. It is the same sentence, but the intonation, the pitch, the tone, show if you're expressing regret or criticism. Okay? Yeah? Okay. And we're finished with the explanation.